morning, Bath Church, and good morning, Bath Church kids. So I want you to think about today what kind of hobbies that you enjoy. Like for me, I love running, I love hiking outdoors, I love reading, I love messing around in the yard and gardening. I know my kids love putting together Legos, they love making art. So what are some of your hobbies? Well, I started thinking about this and I thought, I wonder if God has a hobby. And I know nothing in the Bible talks about God's hobbies, but I feel like if I use my imagination, I feel like his hobby would be bird watching. I mean, he's got a great point of view up there, and I can see him up there with his binoculars, scoping out all of the birds that he created, and maybe counting them, or maybe just checking in on them and taking a look at his beautiful birds that he made. And I can kind of hear him saying, ooh, there's a blue jay, or there's a hawk, or there's a pelican, or there's a sparrow. And of course he'd say a sparrow, right? You guys have probably seen sparrows. There's millions of them around. And they kind of look like this. See if you've seen one before. You guys seen a sparrow? There's nothing that exciting about them. They're very ordinary. They're very plain. They're just brown. But God really loved sparrows because he made a ton of them. So one day Jesus was teaching his disciples and he said that they should not be afraid. And what Jesus said is he said, do not be afraid when people threaten you. 2 sparrows are sold for a penny, but not a single sparrow falls to the ground without your Father knowing it. So don't be afraid. You are more valuable to God than a whole flock of sparrows. So it's kind of cool to think about us that, God doesn't love us and think of us as common or ordinary. If he did, he wouldn't love us in such an uncommon and extraordinary way, right? So we are way more precious to him than an entire flock of sparrows, and we know how much he loves sparrows, right? So what I want you to think about this week is I want you to think about how precious you are to God. And I want to think about thanking him for just loving us in such an uncommon and extraordinary way that he does. And I also have a job for you. Every time you see a bird, I want you to think of God up there with his binoculars looking down. It makes me really happy. I hope it does for you too. See you next time.